It's time to get ready for the Daniel fast, and I want to teach you the ABCs of shopping the produce aisle. All right, we've got a lot to cover today, and I'm so excited that you're joining us. Now, normally I would do this video in the grocery store, but sometimes technology doesn't always agree. So we're going to do it here in my kitchen. I'm Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist, and it's my joy to serve you God's recipe for excellent health. So we're going to talk about the produce aisle, because if you're going to do the Daniel fast, that's where you need to start first. We're going to be in the produce aisle every week with the Daniel fast, making sure we have nice, fresh, delicious, healthy produce. Now, let me just give you a quiz. I teach about 2 different things when it comes to healthy eating. And if you know the answer, just pause the video, put the answer down below, and then restart. For those of you who are new to me, you don't know the Biblical Nutritionist, you're just meeting me for the first time. The answer is fiber and protein. We've got to have fiber, we've got to have protein. Now, centuries ago, probably even back as far as 2,000 years ago, it was known that you're only as healthy as your colon is. Okay, so the health of your colon determines your health. Well, that's true, because today we're understanding the science of the gut and brain connection. Well, if your colon's not healthy, then you can't think well, you're stressed, you have anxiety. There's a lot of things going on, and it's coming down to the health of the gut. Well, the Daniel fast and produce are perfect for healing the gut and healing the colon. So the Daniel fast is going to be an amazing experience for all of you. So this means we're going to need lots of fiber. And the produce section is going to give us a good supply of that fiber. So the ABCs of shopping the produce aisle. A is for always wash your vegetables. Now you can see I've got bagged, I've got fresh, now this bag is tightly sealed, I've got, a clamshell of grapes, I've got some other vegetables and fruits here. They're packaged differently. It doesn't matter how they're packaged, I still need to wash them before we use them. Now, if they stay in this bag for a while, I don't need to wash it until I'm ready to use it. But if I take it out of the bag and I mix it with my other produce, then I do need to wash it first, because I don't want things to be cross-contaminated. It doesn't matter if you buy organic or if you buy conventional, you still have to wash your produce. Salmonella, E. coli, parasites, there's just a lot of things on our food that we do not want to be eating in any amount whatsoever. Now realize that even your produce that is bagged, even if it's organic, there's still preservatives on this kale to keep it fresh. I could not go out in my yard right now in my garden and pick kale and a week later it looked this green and this beautiful, unless I had it in some ice cold water or something like that. Something has to be done to keep it fresh, and so they use preservatives to make that happen. Now apples here, they have a wax coating. Fresh produce like this cucumber is going to have a wax coating. So not only am I going to wash it, we're going to peel it too to get rid of the wax. Now all of the studies that I looked at as far as how healthy that wax is, they all say it's nothing wrong with it, it's not going to cause you any harm, it's just going to go straight through you. Well, that's fine, but I'm not really excited about, making wax another food group in my diet. Here I have a rutabaga, and if you've ever seen rutabagas, you can just see the wax on that just shining through on the camera and the lights here. So always wash your produce. Wash it right before you eat it. And that's really important. Even if it has a peeling like these mandarins, I'm going to wash my hands, peel the mandarin, and then wash my hands again, because what's on the outside coating of this peeling is still more chemicals. All right, so I hope you got it. Wash first. The B stands for the best is fresh. Now, the term fresh is not a legally recognized term. They can say anything is fresh. They can say fresh fish, and you live 1,000 miles from any water source. So the fresh just means it can spoil. That's the only true definition of fresh, means it can spoil. But so when we're talking fresh, we're talking local. Local is primary. Now right now I have growing outside in my garden, and it's wintertime, but I have some plastic over my garden beds and some hoops and things like that. So I've got some cauliflower and some broccoli and some kale growing. I actually had some green onions pop up. I'm not sure where they came from, but obviously I missed picking them last spring, so they regrew. So that's going to be local. That's totally local. But otherwise, I'm not going to get the farmer's market right now. I'm only going to be able to get what's in the grocery store. So I'm looking for fresh. So this bag of organic chopped kale is going to be fresh. This is going to be good. And I'm going to use this. Like I said, I'm going to wash it really well, but then this is definitely going to be part of our diet. I have some organic grapes. Remember, if you've learned from my teachings from other videos and the books that I've written, grapes need to be from America. They need to be, organic. Very important for grapes. So fresh is best. Eating as much as 50% of your diet with fresh fruits and vegetable is going to keep that colon clean and healthy. Fresh vegetables are also going to help feed the probiotics and the microbiome, and that in itself leads to less depression and less anxiety and less stress. Well, if that doesn't make you run to the produce aisle, nothing will. Okay, so always make sure you wash it first. Wash your hands before and after, and then fresh is best. The best is fresh. And so consuming 50% of your diet with fresh fruits and vegetables is ideal for all ages. And no matter if you're in the Daniel fast or not, that's just something we should always strive for. All right, and C means check the label. Okay, this is very important. So I had 2 bags of kale here. Now I know you probably can't see super well in the camera, but this one has a date, December 30th. They were on the same shelf like this. This one has the date of January 5th. Okay, so almost an entire week later, this kale is always behind this kale. So when you're shopping, always reach to the back. Always reach to the back of the produce section if it's a bagged product. If it's just out on the shelf, then you really don't have dates on, the rutabaga. And by the way, how many of you love to cook with rutabaga? I would love to read your comments down below. Okay, so apples, they're in a vented bag, so they're going to have a wax on it. I'm wanting to know where they're grown. I'm wanting to know what variety they are. And we all know apple season is apple season. So if you're buying apples in the middle of summer and you're like, these don't taste good, that's because they're not fresh. They may spoil, but they're not fresh. When I went to Africa and had some mangoes for the first time, they were so delicious. But yet when I come home and I buy mangoes today in America, it's like, okay, well, these don't taste near what they did in Africa, because in Africa, they were straight off the tree. If you've grown tomatoes in your own garden, they have a flavor, and even they just have an aroma. Just smelling them, it just smells so amazing. But when you buy tomatoes in the grocery store, well, for one, they were picked green, and then they have different temperatures and gases to make sure they ripen at a specific time just for you to buy them. So there's no flavor there. In fact, the nutrient value is much less. Here's another tip I want to point out. Is we have, a lot of bagged lettuces have become very popular, and I get it. It saves us all a lot of trouble, and it has a lot of good mixes of different vegetables in there. And so they're very popular, they're very easy, they're very quick. But when you look on the back at the list of ingredients, it's this entire black box. That's a lot of ingredients. And most of you are wise enough to know, wait a minute, that's the sauce packet inside. Well, it is. So when you buy these, I don't use the sauce packet. I use my own homemade dressings, or I use a salsa or a hummus as the dressing. I just buy the bags just for the convenience of the chopped vegetables. And, so once again, check the labels. You're wanting to know where it's from, and you're wanting to know what its expiration date is. And then you're always wanting to reach behind to always get the freshest. Remember, fresh is best. Always wash, even wash these, as well, because they've been handled. In fact, because it's so chopped and so many different things have happened to this, it's been handled a lot. And so this is really what I want to teach you. And so whether you're buying organic, of course, organic is our best option because we do not need pesticides, preservatives in the minds of our babies, of our children, of our grandchildren, or even as adults. We want to preserve every mind cell that we have, every brain cell to be healthy and happy. And so there's a lot to look for. But number one, yes, there are things that happen with Salmonella and E. coli just because of the conditions of where most produce is grown and the people who are harvesting it. So that's always going to be a factor, but yet it washes off. Use a really good vegetable wash. I don't really have one to recommend you. There's several out there. You can even just use hydrogen peroxide to wash off vegetables. The wax, I would peel it off. and wash your hands really good with a very good pH balanced hand soap for your hands as well. And so this is important. You've got to have 50% of this in your diet, because if our colon is happy and healthy, we are happy and healthy. When your colon is not happy and healthy, you're going to have skin issues, you're going to be tired, you're going to be lethargic, no energy. Actually, those are all redundant, but you get the point. So fiber, protein. Today's all about fiber and getting ready for the Daniel fast. These are all foods that you could easily enjoy on the Daniel fast. Hit the produce section once or twice a week. Enjoy the Daniel fast. It's only 21 days of eating remarkably well, giving your body what it deserves every day of its life, and just recognizing what God has given us. I hope this has been helpful to you. Leave some comments down below so I can know what I can teach you next, what you're looking to learn, and I look forward to serving you again, God's recipe for excellent health. Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist. Don't forget to subscribe so you can know when these videos are coming out. Thanks for watching.